Hey everybody, Mike Naso here with the latest on Tropical Storm Helene nearing hurricane strength. First, a couple of maps here from two hurricane seasons I think are good analogs for this one. The first is 1981, and you can see we had a lot of storms up here that were major hurricanes out in the Atlantic near Bermuda. Very little Gulf of Mexico activity, but we did have a storm come through the Caribbean and then into Florida and the East Coast that was weak, much like Ernesto. That was Dennis back in 81. And then we had some late season activity with Hurricane Katrina into Cuba as a Category 1. Okay, and I think we will have late season activity. 20 years later is the next analog, 2001, remember it well. We had four major hurricanes that year. Two were September hurricanes out to sea, and then two were October-November hurricanes in the Caribbean. And I think we could see a similar situation this year where Gordon and Helene are the out-to-sea hurricanes in September that reach major intensity, and then we have another one in the late season come out of the Caribbean, very possible. So again, those two seasons I think are good analogs. Here's what's going on out there right now. You can see Tropical Storm Helene. See that little spot right there? That bursting CDO is going to become the I-type feature, and you can see it's looking much better organized as the sun goes down, almost a hurricane. Hurricane Gordon still looking powerful but weakening. And then Hurricane Lane in the Eastern Pacific is going to be a feature we're going to have to watch. There's the latest on Hurricane Gordon as of 5 p.m., 90 miles an hour, gusting to 115. It's nearly stationary, and that's good news because that could help more of a weakness to pull Hurricane Helene up. However, there is some ridging that's left behind as Gordon slips north that will keep Helene moving west-northwest for a while. We'll talk about Helene in just a moment. You can see Gordon there not looking as impressive as it did yesterday as a strong Category 3 hurricane. Here's Helene, 70 miles an hour, almost a hurricane, 992 millibars. It slowed down significantly from yesterday, west-northwest at 14. And you can see yesterday that track was kind of this squiggly westward movement, but it has continued northwest today, and that is forecast over the next 5 days, and it is expected to become a major hurricane on Monday. And I think it could become a stronger major hurricane, perhaps even a Category 4, and I'll tell you why. There's the latest visible, bursting CDO looking better. This is a large tropical cyclone, but it's consolidated, so the inner core is developed, and nothing's going to inhibit it the next 3 days at least. And you can see that even better on the shear map. A lot of low shear in front of it. I think it's very possible this could become a Category 3 or 4 hurricane. Hurricane Center is saying Category 3. Definitely agree with them on that. A lot of hurricanes, though, that are Cape Verde that turn out have become Category 3, 4, and even 5 hurricanes. I don't think this is going to get near Category 5 intensity, but I do not think that Category 4 intensity should be ruled out. Here's the latest model spread. You can see some take it off more westward and others off to the east and faster. The hurricane center right in the middle. Either way, if it does turn back to the west, don't expect it to get further than 65 because another system's going to come and pull it out. Bermuda, keep an eye on it, but right now, you're right here, and I think there's a good chance that where it turns will probably be right at 60. So I do not think that it's going to get to you at all. So again, northwest track from here on out, and then a turn at 60 is probably what we're going to see. Here's the latest steering layer, and you can see the high pressure to the north of Tropical Storm Helene would generally push it westward and then up and around off to the north, and you'd think, uh-oh, it's going to get north of Puerto Rico. Not so fast, Helene. As Gordon sticks around and as this system comes off, the ridge is going to weaken, and you're going to have the weakness draw Helene up more like that. So that's what we're looking at. A U.S. impact 1% at best right now. Hurricane number 6 is a good analog for Helene, I think, in 1901. Formed in a similar area, became a hurricane in a similar area. Peaked out at about Cat 2 intensity, maybe Cat 3. You never know how strong they were back then for real, but a pretty potent hurricane and turned right about at 60. So I think this is kind of the track we're going to see with Helene. Here's what's been going on pretty much the last 24 hours. You can see Helene has consolidated more into a larger and stronger tropical cyclone than it was. Gordon has decayed. You can see that little upper level feature here. That's what the GFS was kind of showing, breaking down the ridge, which was why it was taking Helene northward so quickly. But this upper feature also helped Gordon explode into a Category 3 hurricane with the ventilation. I mentioned that yesterday. There's the system pushing off the east coast. And you can see there's Lane in the Eastern Pacific looking a little bit better organized, of course, a hurricane now, so activity brewing more and more. Real quick in the Atlantic, I did want to mention this tropical wave is moving through the Caribbean Sea, and there's this feature down here that I think as they merge we might be able to see something develop, so keep a close eye on that. Eastern Pacific, there's Hurricane Lane, another interesting spin, but this shouldn't do much. Hurricane Lane now up to 80 miles an hour, forecast to become a Category 2 and strike the coast of Mexico. Any deviation will bring it inland sooner. You can see the visible there. Eye keeps trying to poke out, looking pretty well organized. Don't think this one will explode into a Category 4 like John did, mainly because it's larger and closer to land. But you never know. You always have to watch these little eyes. Remember Ignacio a few years ago? Blew right up to a Cat 2. Yeah, got to keep a close eye on it. There's the beautiful AVN. You can see it's looking very good with extremely cold cloud tops, so this could very well become a powerful hurricane. Finally, another powerful tropical cyclone, Tropical Storm Shanshan, 140 miles an hour, moving north at 11. This should be rapidly weakening and going into the Sea of Japan over the next several days. Nevertheless, you can see looking pretty good. I'd like to see some more red convection there on the western CDO to kind of warrant a stronger intensity. Luckily, we're not seeing that, and it looks like it'll probably start to weaken soon. Small typhoon compared to how big they usually get. I'm just used to seeing Aoki out there, but gonna pull off Japan. Look for some nasty weather in the coming days. I'm Mike Naso. That's the latest on the tropics. I'll see you next time.